Welcome to everyone. It's great to have you all here. And I'm really excited about the journey we are on now. More than ever before. I've been doing this for some time. And I'll tell you why I'm so excited. It's not very usual to have the opportunity to be part of a step change in society as we are all in now for the last few years. And it's very early. Probably look back at it just like we looked at 1994, which was the first time the browser came along, commercially at least. But I think it's even bigger than that. I think it's at least as big as the microprocessor, the transistor, at least. Maybe bigger, we'll find out. I don't know if it's bigger than that. But what Gen AI is promising, and we are all in the journey, and I'm not going to make any claims on that, is to industrialize knowledge work. Something that has been really hard to do ever since knowledge work began, which was, let's say, about 100 years ago, when Frederick Taylor and his ideas of organizing factories and production, going all the way back to Ford and assembly lining, right? Industrialization of manufacturing has been on for over 100 years. And now we are just entering the era of industrializing knowledge work. And that's made possible by a unit of capability, which is a GPT, which is a large language model. We all understand, at least from the outside, what it is. It's a unit that takes natural language input, natural language, and produces natural language output, right? That's what that unit does. It may be very expensive, it may be very inexpensive, doesn't matter. That's the unit. And as that unit, or that component, if you will, gets better and better and better, the whole industry, the whole economy will consume it in many, many ways. And we are one of those consumers. You are one of those consumers. And that, to me, breaks down at this point into very simple things. The idea of industrializing knowledge work requires that you create specialization, right? That's sort of the origin of the Industrial Revolution. Specialization creates more productivity. But in order to specialize, we've been trying to do that with humans around knowledge work for a while, but you hit a plateau of productivity gains. Because if humans have to break down work and assembly line it all, the transfer and the handover costs are pretty high between humans, right? Of one specialized unit of work to another specialized unit. I'm talking about knowledge work. But with machines, you can drive that specialization and the interconnect much faster, much faster. And that creates a whole new order of productivity improvement. So for example, take a case of a piece of knowledge content. I'll make it real for us. And I'm sure many of our clients here who are here, and they'll kind of understand what I'm saying. Take a piece of content, it's written in PDF. It's been there for some time. It's a 100-page document. Now you need to create a consumable knowledge article out of that, which is written in a template that you recommend. It needs to follow all the right grammatical rules of grammar, et cetera. It needs to be branded the right way, et cetera, et cetera. If you took that task and tried to break it down for humans to do, knowledge work, there's only so far you can break it down. Because beyond a point, for example, there could be one small micro task in that says, take the entire article and turn it from passive voice to active voice. It's pretty straightforward. But would you hand it off to someone to say, just do that job and come back with having finished that job? Another micro task could be, oh, just look at all the acronyms and make sure that every time an acronym is used, it has been referenced or at least defined somewhere else before that. Simple. A human can do it. But can you really break down your entire journey of 20 micro tasks into 20 tasks for humans and have 20 people do it differently? The transfer costs, the handover costs are too high. So it never gets done that way, which means that one person inevitably ends up doing all those 20 micro tasks. And that means it's very slow. It takes a long time to do it. But if you broke that time, that whole process into those 20 tasks, and you had specialist units, what I talk about, the Gen AI units, handling each of those micro tasks really well, you could string it together and boom, you got yourself a highly productive task that was done by stringing these things together. The reason I'm bringing it up is that's the journey we are on. That's a very simple use case. You can make it more complicated. You can make it more advanced and sophisticated. But that's the essence of the productivity gain that we are seeing in one half of the market. The other half is to make that answer more consumable, more interactive, easier to engage with. That's the front end. So between these two, the back end and the front end, Gen AI is impacting the industrialization, the whole automation of knowledge work in the economy. We are just a part of it. To me, that's super exciting. And the focus should be less on what that component is that from OpenAI or from Anthropic or from someone else? That's not as relevant. Just like it's not relevant who makes the transistor, who makes the microchip. What's important is what you're able to do with the microprocessors put together into a computing system with operating systems and tools on top of it. So what is going to be built on top of this foundation of automated knowledge work is where all of us play.